Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Walters. This is a special episode of Local Film Talk. What we have today is the Q&A from the second block of short films from the 10th Annual Carrboro Film Festival, which was held in November of 2015 at the Carrboro Arts Center here in North Carolina. So we hope you guys enjoy it. I just wanted to take a quick second to thank the Carrboro Film Festival, the Carrboro Arts Center, and festival director Nick Beery. They were all nice enough to let us record the event and put it out as an episode for you guys. So again, thank you to them, and we hope you guys enjoy this.
So first off, if I can please, I'm just going to pass the mic and let everyone introduce themselves. Tell them your name and say what film you've been doing.
All right, sounds good. Hello, I'm Nathan Rittenhouse, and my film was Offset.
My name is Yokoyama, and my film was A Short Trip, which I co-produced with
Rob Underhill. She knew that. She was just trying to let me talk.
I'm Maurice, Hicks, and my film was A Letter to My Son.
My name's Kristin Pearson, and my film is called SugarSugarSugar. It was the first animated one.
My name is ERIK, and I worked on the sound for Pallbearers with these guys.
He was the composer. My name is Chaz Fulk, and I wrote and directed Pallbearers.
I'm JENN, STILLEY, and I was the cinematographer and editor on Pallbearers.
I'm ADDIS, and I was in Pallbearers.
CRICKENBERGER, Pallbearers.
I'm David Price, Pallbearers.
Cranston Johnson, Letter to My Son.
So I wanted to start off by asking a little bit about what you experienced while making your film. What were some of the difficulties that you had to overcome while you were making your film?
One of the main challenges with our short was when Maurice initially approached me about it. It was like 10 pages of straight dialogue, and just, I mean, being the only person that the camera was going to be focused on was really just kind of caused a lot of anxiety, and just I was afraid actually to do the project initially, and I came really close to telling him that it was just too much of a challenge trying to capture all of that emotion, and just being the focal point, not having anybody else to hide behind, for lack of better words. So that was a major challenge for me. So once I got that down, just also like we, of course you can tell it was cut a couple of different times. We were lucky enough to run it all the way through every time we did shoot, but of course sometimes it was bigger than others. So just holding on to that emotion throughout the course of the day was really tough, and just we knew it was important, so I just wanted to really be able to come across and embody everything that he had written so well. So that was a big challenge for us.
Great job.
Thank you.
I agree. I'm David Price, and I got to work with these talented, passionate young people, so I didn't have any difficulties at all.
I'd say probably the hardest part was just getting the coffin to and from set every day. Over the course of about 4 months, 3 months, and we carried it to set, and then all day filming, and then from set. So.
Also, the spiders and the heat and all the bugs that was in the woods and stuff.
Yeah, it was, North Carolina woods during the summer. I mean, most of you are North Carolinians, I'm sure, so it's a little hot, a little steamy, and it was just the four of us right here. This is the set, the crew. No additional crew, no sound guys, nothing. It was us four, so we did everything ourselves, so it was a lot of sweat, some blood, So that was the biggest challenge, just keeping it truly main crew, and that's it, and just getting the best thing we could from each of us.
Yeah, I would agree with the blood, sweat, and tears. The cicadas and sound continuity was a really big difficulty. There were scenes when we would literally be throwing sticks into the trees to knock a cicada out of the tree so we could run a scene, and then by the same time we got done with the scene, he would be back. And so Jacob got really good at throwing sticks and hitting them. We could hear them fall out of the tree. It'd be like, eh, and then we'd be like, all right, go. And we'd do the scene, and then he'd be back, and then we'd do it again. And so I'm just glad we were able to get him out of the tree.
Well, I wasn't on set, so I think I had the easiest job there. But I think a tough thing about composing is knowing what instruments to pick, in the beginning, and it would be a lot easier if there was like a flow chart. Like, okay, let's see, this takes place 1900s, murder, incest, violence, bam, right there. So that was definitely the hardest part, just settling on the instruments and then going from there.
Sure, well, I work in paper products that are about 60 years old Life magazines and National Geographics. So sometimes they are not your friend, they're very brittle, and I only use scissors and paper, so a lot can go wrong with scissors and paper and a shaky hand and a unstable climate. So those were all my challenges.
Thank you. I think I can speak for a lot of people when you say that you write something personal to you, and there is like this fear of releasing it out into the world and letting people see a part of you that you may be afraid to talk about publicly. And I think that was the biggest challenge. And also who to give it to. Like, who do you say, this is a piece of me. I give it to you, Cranston, to transform it, to make it come to life. And just being vulnerable and allowing it to exist was a big challenge for me, but I'm glad I did it.
For our film, I would say the most difficult part for me was to have the same actors play two different versions of them, younger version and older version. So we had a little bit of difficulty, you know, how are we going to dress them, that kind of things. What do you say?
Sure. I think that my job was relatively easy. I've been kind of established here for a long time. So the movie's a short trip, and it takes place at the coffee shop, Carolina Coffee Shop, just right down the road. And so for me, I just tapped a bunch of people I knew would do a great job and handed them over to Ari as a co-producer. Showed up, make sure they did, behave themselves. And Ari did all the work, though. She did an amazing job directing. She wrote it, edited the whole project immaculately. I'm so proud to watch it on here. It looks so good, and I'm thrilled to be a part of the project. So I think my job was so easy. I can't even say the hardest part. The hardest part was just being overshadowed by this amazing director here, Ari. And y'all know how I have a problem with that. I'm always I have to be top dog. So no, I'm kidding. But it was a terrific project to work on. I see you shaking your head, but you have the same problems. I know you do, buddy. All right. But yeah, terrific project. And thank you, Ari, for inviting me to be participating in it and to help you through her inaugural short film. This is her first film that she's directed. Am I correct? A short trip? Yeah. First one you directed, all out and produced. So, yeah.
All right, thanks. I would say there were two big challenges with this film. The first was I had a very, very, very tiny budget, and so I couldn't afford to bring a lot of people on board, and I had already made the decision beforehand that I was absolutely going to pay everybody who worked on the project. So the big challenge was I was directing the shoot, and I was also the script supervisor, and I was also running slate. And so the big challenge was getting all the shots I needed to get, and trying to note the good takes, as well as make sure that my crew and my actors were getting from me what they needed in order to give me their best work. So that was challenge number one. Challenge number two was my male lead, Joe. He did improv right down the street at DSI. He was actually an improv teacher there, and he did weekly improv there. And he was moving out of the area the very next day after the shoot. And he had already committed to DSI to perform that night before he left town. So we were racing against the clock to get him out on time so that he could go and do his last night of improv. So it was just crazy. We just shot really, really fast. And we actually cut a couple shots out, a couple dolly shots we wanted to get, but it was a real challenge. But everyone was a pro, everyone did a great job, and we were able to get them out on time.
So I'd like to open this up to the audience to ask questions.
Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Davison County, Forsyth County area, just woods behind our neighborhood, treacherous terrain that we found and could use. That's where we're all from. Yes, we're all from there. And as far as the ending, I will go so far as to say it's about women, and you and I can have a conversation later if you would like to about it.
Any thoughts, Brooks? No. Okay.
I think I'm definitely influenced by Southern Gothic, so that goes without saying. As far as the death of a beautiful woman, well, Dana is here, the beautiful woman in the coffin. It wasn't the first and foremost thing. I think the idea of a woman was the most important thing, like I had mentioned before. It was about women, so needing that, and there was, I guess, as far as production design goes, we looked something very pure and very clean for her look when the coffin was taken off. So maybe that came out innately without me even being really conscious of that. Well, it can be whatever you want it to be. It can be whatever you want it to be. I'll think back to the scene on the beach when he is talking about the cow getting caught up in the wire, and kind of making a mercy kill in that manner. And I think the ending works two ways. It works metaphorically and thematically, if that's a word, and then kind of by the book and by the plot and the way it goes. And I think it carries both ways. And so, like I said, I would love to discuss it with you and kind of see where your thoughts lie with that.
How long did it take to shoot each one of your projects?
I don't even remember, Jen.
Every weekend from June 1st until mid-October of 2014. Because like I said, it was just the four of us, so it took a couple hours just to get the coffin and all of the gear and everything out to set and then back. So, you know, I mean we all have full-time jobs in school, so weekends and, you know, commitment, I guess, thanks to all of the crew for that.
Well, I'm always cutting paper up and just using them whenever I feel the need. I definitely have a very much different full-time job, so it was kind of, you know, whenever I had a spare moment, oh, let me take out my paper and my scissors. So I really can't put a time on that, unfortunately. But as you can imagine, it's, you know, stop motion. I don't do any sort of manipulating afterwards, so it takes a long time.
I'm going to feel bad. So the short is about 10 minutes, and Cranston's a great actor. And I'm not lying when I say this. He got it all the way through the first take. So after that, it was just coverage. And then we walked around an additional day for about an hour and a half downtown during magic hour to get some of the B-roll. So I'd say in entirety, just shooting, just principal photography, maybe 6 hours.
Our film took about a day and a half to 2 days. Yeah, so.
I was going to suggest we say 2 years every day, but I'm all about melodramatic and.
One day, one full day.
How full?
It's probably about 12 hours total.
12 hours, guys.
Yeah.
That's the original writing. Thank you.
I'm embarrassed, but we're running short on time. So I'd like to give another round of applause for these filmmakers. And we're going to take a break of about 10 minutes, and then at 5:30 is the next film block. So we hope to see you there.